Liors story. Boring. I always liked training and fighting. I kept getting stronger just because I liked it, and eventually, I became the strongest. However, I also became empty. Though there was no end to the people challenging me to get my title, they all sunk with a blow or two. Too weak. How long was it since my thirst for fighting had faded? So boring. Fire won't burn without any firewood. And like the firewood, I kept waiting for a meeting with a worthy opponent. And then one day, I realized that instead of waiting for it, I could just make it happen. Training disciples and raising them to fight against me. That was way more significant than just waiting. Though I immediately found some recruits, I'd only gathered noble brats, losers who didn't even know how to swing a sword. Even when there was some pupils that were somewhat better, they were removed by the other aristocrats' influence. Some people even tried to bribe me to give them a student title, but I shut those guys up with a single blow. I decided that I shouldn't wait for apprentices either, and that I should look for some myself. I searched all over the world and kept looking for pupils in thirst for strength. I was delighted when I finally gathered enough students. They got stronger and stronger every day. It was the first time I felt that happy besides when I fought. However, the aristocrats destroyed all that. I cut the right arm of the main culprits for revenge, but my mind didn't clear at all. Even simple seeing aristocrats felt unpleasant. I left the country in despair and I retired in a secluded sea of trees. I built a house, I fought with some demons, and spent my everyday life in a calm and peaceful way. However, I couldn't fill the empty hole in my heart. When the mind becomes weak, the body becomes weak as well. Even my favorite sword gradually started to feel heavy. I grew weaker because of the lack of any sense of danger. And my empty days continued. And then, I met a boy. It was a confusing and nonsensical child. Even experienced adventurers rarely set foot in this forest, yet he casually passed by here with a light attire like he was just going to the neighboring town. I thought he was a new variety of demon at first, so I gave off some bloodthirst. Then I thought he was some idiot noble who came to visit me. It's rare to meet someone who doesn't know me on this continent. I was quite interested in that boy who didn't recognize me even after seeing me, though he understood who I was after I revealed my name to him. The boy was quite mature for his age and he had good taste in tea, too. It was my first time meeting someone after so long as well, so I became quite talkative. However, I actually ended up getting preached. I noticed that he was provoking me and I answered to his provocation in order to educate that impertinent boy. I thought I could just wait for an attack, dodge it and hit the kid lightly on his head. However, he was just leisurely walking for some reason. It was my first time seeing that kind of action. I absent-mindedly watched the boy leisurely approaching me, then he suddenly appeared in front of me and got into my range. I almost fell down on the ground from the surprise and my heart was pounding strongly. If it was the old me, I would never have let him get this close. I was surprised by my weakness, but I managed to barely move away. I dodged that attack, but the boy hit me at my side right after and then took some distance. Say, what if this was actually a knife? Serious, those words made me angry. Not towards the boy but towards myself. What on earth am I doing? This arrogance, it's the same as those fools from the past. Though he didn't actually stab me, that blow woke me up. This fellow is not a simple child, he's a strong person worthy of being my opponent. I now understand that. I disappear and a blazing fire takes my stead, my body starts to pulse with heat. This sensation, I missed it. I apologized to him, thanked him, and we then took a fresh start. This boy. No, this guy, it's someone I can get serious with. He doesn't belong to any school either, he's holding a stance that I've never seen before. He should join my school, Tsuyoshi Yabuito Ryu. Tsuyoshi Yabuito style first technique. Heaven strength. It's a basic technique that consists on raising the sword and then swinging it down with all one's strength. It's nothing but a simple downward string. But it can easily slice and cut iron once studied thoroughly. Though its trajectory is easy to read, it's difficult to avoid it because of its speed and the overpowering feeling given off by the full-out blow. It can't be avoided because of its simplicity. In fact, most of my opponents were beaten by this. But what about this fellow? I step cautiously because of the fissures on the ground and I use heaven's strength. It's dodged. Moreover, he avoids it at the very last moment by merely shifting half of his body to this side. I leak out a smile over his ability to surely dodge that kind of strikes reflexively. Immediately after, I aim for the opponent and slice at him with a downward swing. I'm using the Nanoken Tsuyoshi Sho. He twists his body and avoids this on as well. Though he tries to use the momentum of the evasion to attack me, I raise back my sword and use it to defend myself. Not only he avoided both of my attacks, but now my chances of losing are bigger since I also have to watch out for counterattacks. My blood is boiling more than I thought. The opponent surely made me give him my best. The fellow is using the boost magic to compensate for the difference in physical strength. Though I had an opponent who used that in the past, it's my first time seeing a complete use of boost. No, this doesn't matter for now. I'll go all out now and give the best I can. 8 slashes breath Ranoken Chiabu. He blocks half of the slashes with his sword and he dodges the remaining ones. I plunge mana in the sword and create an extensive shockwave Yabu no Kenshoha. I use this chance to pass him by the side. I try to attack him but he moves back outside the reach of the impact. I swing down forward and he dodges by jumping backwards. Oh, it doesn't connect. None of my techniques connect. Ha ha, splendid. I can't stop my heart from dancing. This is incredibly fun. A competition using both power and skill, a fight to the extreme with both parties clashing at full strength. Power is returning to my weakened body, and being able to sharpen my senses and use my techniques is so pleasant. The strong man I longed for so long has appeared at last. What Kusuruge? What's strongest? Isn't there someone clearly superior to me right here? I want to fight with my beloved sword, and not with some wooden one. I don't want us to withdraw after one hit. I want us to fight until we attain a clear victory or defeat. I want to put on my armor. I want to fight desperately with life and death at Sake. I want to keep fighting forever. My revived heart spits out desires one after another, but this old body hits its limit. My breath is ragged, and I am clearly on the defensive side. This body is far past its prime, but because I did not neglect my daily training, I should be able to fight a little longer. It seems to be the price to pay for the time I spent rotting away. If only I had met him sooner. No, it's too late to say that, isn't it? He attempts a strong attack aimed at my neck, but he stops, jumps backward and puts a lot of distance between us. Strange, he could have struck me with his sword using that momentum. As I establish a steady breath while questioning his actions, he also just stands there, exhaling deep breath, and he raises a single finger. We're both at our limit. Let's put an end to this. Serious, alright, Lior, is that so? Is this fellow at his limit? Though his appearance didn't change, I can see that his breath is getting rough little by little and his arm is slightly shaking, showing that he's indeed at his limit. And I'd only noticed it just now. Even his skill for concealing tiredness is wonderful. The thing is that if we keep fighting like this, I'll get exhausted and he'll win just from his tenacity. Nevertheless, he took some distance and declared that we're ending this. I'm really thankful. Then, I'll honor that graceful gesture. I fix my disordered breath, I take a heaven strength stance again and grasp the sword. Alright, here I come. I will show him the strongest blow I can pull off in my current state. The fellow accelerates at a dash in a frontal way without trying to pull any petty tricks. Though I surpass him in power, I don't know what will happen against this opponent whose movements I can't read. He uses his momentum from running and swings his sword as if he's scooping something up, while I just naively swing mine from the top to the bottom. A crushing sound echoes throughout the area, and our wooden swords crumble to pieces. Could they not withstand our attacks any longer? Whether that's it or not, I just leak out a sigh and enjoy this time of supreme bliss. But I was foolish. This fight isn't over yet. The moment I look at the pieces of wood flying about, the guy's foot catches my jaw. Haha. There was no reason for the fight to end when the weapons broke. I see his foot move slightly, and at that moment, my consciousness fades away.